Hi everyone, Shanna with Avidity the Moon, coming at you with a weekly forecast for September 5th through September 11th. So to start off with, on Saturday, on September 5th, we have Mercury ingressing into Libra. And so what this means is that Mercury is going to be leaving his home sign. I'll share screen here. Mercury is going to be leaving his home sign of Virgo, and so he's really strong in Virgo. Mercury is very much on point with the details and rolling up the sleeves and getting the work done and setting things up in such a way as to be pragmatic and practical. Now when Mercury moves into Libra, the energy is going to shift a little bit. So what's going to happen is that he's now going to become more diplomatic. He's going to become more balanced. He's going to become more justice oriented. And so after leaving his home sign and digging into the details and understanding the subtlety of the big picture and the power struggles and the oppressiveness that's happening in the world, now he's going to want to talk about it because he's moving into an air sign. And so Mercury is the planet of communication, air sign, and our mental capacities with Mercury. So he's going to get more vocal. So what this means is that you can see people starting to choose their words a little more wisely in terms of being a little more diplomatic, being a little more balanced, maybe even more relational type conversations, because this is Libra, this is a Venus ruled sign. Venus signs are love and relations kind of things. Libra though has a little bit of different flavor because it is an air sign, and it's more about that speaking eloquently, being more diplomatic, being more justice oriented, and what's right, what's just, what's good. And later in the month, he's gonna be forming a T-square with Mars and the stellium in Capricorn. But right now it's sign based. We're gonna start to see maybe some things going on, with that coming T-square, because it is a little bit of a different flavor. Mars will be retrograde by the time Mercury squares and is in opposition, right? Forming that T-square with the stellium in Capricorn. So there could be definitely some arguments, disputes later in the month, but right now it's at 0 degrees on Saturday at 3:47 Eastern Standard Time is what I have on my calendar right here in this chart that I'm showing you. So the information that Mercury is going to be talking about has not been fully integrated coming off that trine with Saturn as the last aspect that it makes to any planet really. So the last aspect that Mercury made leaving Virgo was a trine to Saturn. So it's about integrating that information and now starting to talk about it. And then I think that's what I want to say, but I mean later in the month, people could be eating their words, arguments, disputes, having to balance, speaking out with and speaking out and speaking against what's going on in the world. So there is that. Now, why are you not moving? So I'm trying to keep myself on track here with some notes, and oh, there we go. So now, if we go to the next day, Venus, the planet of love, relationships, money, soft-spoken Venus. She's moving out of Cancer, and she has been through the ringer in Cancer. She's bruised, she's bloody, she did not have a good time. The last aspects she made were the opposition to Saturn and the square to Mars. And that for Venus, obviously, earlier this week, there was a pregnant mother that was arrested for posting something on Facebook in Australia about a rally. And so that in and of itself is a literal interpretation of completely unjust gross overreach, subjugation of the feminine, okay, of the mother. So I will say that whatever your personal opinion is, I mean, this is my personal opinion. She was pregnant, you know, or she is pregnant and whatnot. So, but in Leo, the energy is going to be a little bit different. She's not as soft. She's more, she's in a fire sign. So she's going to be more passionate about what she's talking about. She's going to be more fired up. She's going to be the drama queen, you know. So don't take this personally that I'm attacking Leos, because I'm a Leo rising. So trust me, I know when we want to be drama, we're going to be drama. And when we have a point to prove, we're going to get that point across. Trust me, I know this. So she's going to grandstand. So Venus in Leo is going to be more of, she's going to have something to say because of all the crap that she went through in Cancer. Okay. So she's going to be stepping up, especially now. She's going to be in sign chart trine with Mars instead of sign square or exact square aspect. So later on in the month, she is going to be coming into a trine with Mars, which means she herself is going to be bolstered, because that trine to Mars, even though he's going to be retrograde, it's still going to push her to a different level. And she's going to be using her voice and her pragmatic, you know, I like Venus in Leo, not just because it comes through on my ascendant, but because, you know, I like Venus in Leo. It's passion, it's fire, it's love it. So let's see. I think that's all I want. Okay, so in Leo, she is empowered, she is fired up. And I mean, she's gonna use her voice, and she's gonna say what's on her mind. And so, you know, once she moves through this first decan of Leo, this is about the sun. So this is about being bright, coming out of that, you know, that really deep, dark energy that she was in, and really giving herself a boost. And so she's stronger now. You know, she's it's not a home sign, but it's not a bad sign either. She's definitely a lot stronger in Leo than she is in Cancer. And I like that she's going to now be making this trine to Mars later in the month. Now, so let's see here. Jupiter on Wednesday. So let's see, September 7th. What day is that? I do not have my ish together today. So on the 9th, we have two aspects going on. We have the sun in trine with Jupiter retrograde, though Jupiter is stationing to go direct on the 12th, and I'll cover that next Friday. Mars is stationing on the 9th to go retrograde. So the sun trine Jupiter happens at 12:03 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Mars stations retrograde exactly at 6:22 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So what this means is the sun in trine with Jupiter. This, under normal circumstances, is more of, it's a beneficial energy, but it's also, it can be a lazy energy, okay? But because this is the sun in Virgo, in pragmatic Virgo, and really focusing your energy on the details and what you need to get done, and your health and your wellness and your mental capacities, this is also in trine to Jupiter in Capricorn with Pluto, with Saturn. I mean, you can't really tear it all apart. So what this means is that this sun starting this trine with those three planets in Capricorn means that instead of being a more lazy aspect, a more benevolent lazy aspect, this could see people taking concrete, step-by-step action to achieve. This is drive, this is ambition, this is domination of some type of skill, or yeah, it's a skill. The problem though is that on this day when the sun is making this aspect, Mars is turning retrograde at 28 degrees of Aries, and the absolute gravitas of the situations that are arising just got a little more complicated, okay? Because he's still in square with Saturn over in Capricorn. So when Mars is retrograde, instead of having a righteous, outward expressing anger, this is more of an internalized, simmering rage. And so we could see, especially with Jupiter going direct later in the month, you know, Saturn is starting to station to go direct as well. And then next month, you know, Pluto's going to go direct. But right now, Jupiter's going direct, so he's sitting still in the sky. So he's offering support, but he's debilitated in Capricorn. So he's not offering as much support as he normally would in any of the other signs, in terms of if he was in Sagittarius or if he was in Pisces. Both are his home signs, exaltation signs. If he was in Cancer, it'd be a completely different story. But right now, you know, he's there, he's offering his support as much as he can, but he still has to follow all the rules of Capricorn, okay? And with Saturn there, he really has to follow all the rules. So he's going to offer support, but it's not going to be what it normally would be with Jupiter stationing to go direct and offering up his more benevolent qualities. So with Jupiter moving direct, this could see legislation to try to subdue maybe some of the riots that are happening, or the people, you know, and whatnot. So that's what I'm going to say about that. So Mars retrograde, this is, instead of an external righteous anger in Mars, this is turned now to an internal simmering rage. And so we're going to probably, you know, see an uptick in the violence. And, you know, he's at 28. He's still, it's a few degrees away. So, you know, we're going to see that uptick in violence, unfortunately. But on the 11th, to round out the week, we are going to see the sun in opposition to Neptune. I hate, and I will say that I absolutely abhor this aspect. And, you know, I'm not supposed to be judgmental or anything, but to me, this is lies, and more lies. And this is confusion. This is, you know, you have to balance what you know to be right and true in the world against lies, deception, fogginess, and opposition. You know, Neptune is still in sextile with Jupiter. So there is a supporting aspect, but the sun is also in trine with Jupiter. So it's grounding that effect. It's not as bad as if it was an unaspected opposition. It is being grounded by Jupiter, the more benefic planet, if you're dayborn, and he is going direct. So, you know, this may not be as many lies, but it's still going to be lies. Okay. You know, I don't like it, because I don't like the sun in opposition to Neptune, because this is, and we'll go to the 11th and have it exact here. You know, this is, I really don't like this aspect. I don't like the sun in opposition to Neptune, because to me, this is very much what you think to be true and what you believe in your heart of hearts to be true is going to butt up against deception and lies and, you know, manipulation. So this is really like, this is the spiritual bypassers of the world. This is the people that, you know, the trollers of the world. This is, you know, the people that need to look in the mirror and take responsibility for their own actions and the things that they're doing and the things that they're saying. And I'm very much a self-responsibility kind of person. It's just how I was raised. And, you know, beware of people crying wolf with this aspect. Beware of people, you know, being scapegoated and being victimized or proclaiming they're a victim. So be cognizant of that energy as well. To me, this is more of like a 7 of Swords energy, right? So anyone that knows anything about tarot knows that the swords is a mental game. But the Seven of Swords is deception and lies for ill intent. And that to me is this aspect that's going on, especially with Mars squaring Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, and the sextile to Jupiter and Pluto, and the trine to the sun from Pluto and Jupiter. It's just, it's benefic, but it's deceptive as well. So beware the people that are offering salvation at this time, because they may not be who they say they are, and they may not live up to the hype or the self-hype or whatnot. So I guess that's pretty much it. That's the rundown for the week. Now, I hope that you all have a good week. Be aware, be responsible, make sure that you're maintaining your personal boundaries over the coming weeks. Make sure that when you say no, you mean it and you adhere to it, and you're not letting people walk all over you, especially this week. So, have a good one. Bye.